Today we're going to rank all 43 heroes of Marvel Champions. I can't believe it's already that many heroes. I'm excited to do this list. I'm excited to update this. It's been a little while since last cycle when we last did this. But before we jump into the list, there's got to be a few quick things to talk about. One, this is done from a solo perspective, right? This isn't multiplayer hero like taking an account or anything like that. It's solo perspective only. Two, this is up through from the core box all the way through Rogue and Gambit. So if you're watching this video later on and you're wondering, hey, where's Daredevil or Howard the Duck? Why didn't you put them on the list? The reason being is because they haven't come out yet. So I haven't been able to review them. So it's only up to Rogue and Gambit at this point. And this is going to be a pretty long video in general. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on each hero. I'm going to give like a quick synopsis and kind of move on. Especially with heroes I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm going to kind of go through them pretty fast versus the ones I like a lot. Maybe I'll spend more time on maybe the newer ones. We'll see. But I'm not going to spend a ton of time on heroes. So if there's certain heroes you want to learn more about, let me know down in the comments. So we're going to be doing a tier maker list. Last time we did this, we ranked them all in order. This time I want to do something a little bit different. So I want to rank them based off of love them, like a lot, not bad, randomly may play, and not a fan. And then we'll kind of organize them in the list, and if you just read it in order, like that'll be the final list. Okay, cool. So let's start with Adam Warlock. Now, Adam, you know, Wild Tutor deck Adam, I don't mind, but I've gotten kind of bored of. A lot of people have done him with the 2-cost ally system, which I think isn't bad. The problem is I don't like his deck building, right? I don't enjoy coming up a way to balance all 4 aspects. It's just not fun to me. It's not exciting. I'm just not a fan of it. I feel like Marvel Champions, the whole point of it is to be able to deck build fairly quickly and easily, and Adam Warlock doesn't do that for me. Now, he's not terrible, but I'm not the biggest fan of that. All right, next up we have Ant-Man, which I've never liked Ant-Man as much as I like Wasp. I've always liked Wasp a lot more. So, I mean, he's not bad, but he's not like a hero that like I love a lot. And I just not the biggest fan of Ant-Man in general. I haven't liked his kit and style compared to Wasp. Usually, a lot of times when heroes come out in pairs, you tend to pick the one hero versus the other, right? It seems like, especially when they're kind of designed roughly the same. And I'd rather just play Wasp every single time. Next up, we have Black Panther, who I actually like a fair amount. I think he'll be at the end of like a lot, maybe end up in not bad. He's kind of bouncing around between the two of them. I go in waves with Black Panther. Sometimes I like him a lot, and other times it's just kind of like, that's fine. So he's bouncing around right now. I'm not sure where he'll end up. It's either at the very end of this tier or at the beginning of not bad. I'm not sure which. All right, the next one's a big one. So the next one is Black Widow. And the problem with Black Widow is that she, I think, was top 10 last time. Not anymore. I randomly may play her. I am not the biggest fan of Black Widow anymore. I played Black Widow so much, and Justice was fun. Shield Justice is fun. Protection I was enjoying for a while, and now I don't know. I feel like she's very samey. I'm kind of over her style. I feel like I've explored pretty much everything out there for Black Widow right now, and maybe that's a good sign that I've played her so much that I'm kind of over her at this point. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I very randomly will play her, and it's really not that often. All right, next up we have Captain America, who was really low on my list, and he is moving up a ton. He's moving up a ton. I finally, one of the things I'll say is a while back, I wasn't big into leadership builds. I wasn't doing a lot of them, and I finally have gotten back into the rhythm of leadership. I'm starting to like leadership more. Now, Captain America Flow Like Water deck, I love a lot. That helped boost them a lot too. The Leadership Avengers deck is starting to become more fun. It's starting to become more interesting. So now that I'm playing him in Leadership a bit more, I like him. Aggression, I think, has gotten a little bit more interesting recently. And so I don't mind him in that aspect as well. And then Justice, he's fine, right? Justice, he's a fine hero, nothing crazy. But I definitely am liking him a lot more than Black Panther. I don't know where he'll officially end up, but I definitely like him more than Black Panther. All right, next up we have Captain Marvel, who I used to like a lot. Like a lot. I don't know. She's just not bad now. Like, nah, maybe above Ant-Man. Yeah, probably above Ant-Man. She's not bad, right? She's not bad. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I want to play her more, but I feel like I'm kind of bored of her kit. I'm kind of bored of playing her at this point. She's not bad. I don't know. I don't know when's the next time I'll play her, unless like a chat forces me to or something. All right, let's talk about Colossus. So poor Colossus. I want to like him. I really do. but I just don't like his mechanic. I don't like that for solo, you basically have to play him Justice because he's so bad at thwarting. Even when he gets +2 thwart, it's so inconsistent sometimes. And I don't really like his tough as a resource. Like, I just don't think it's, I think it's a cool idea. I just don't think it's executed like that well. Now I know there's ways to kind of get around it, but I still just don't enjoy it. I still don't think he's that much fun to play. I'd rather play almost any of the other X-Men than him. But yeah, for him, I'm just, I don't know. He's fine. He's fine for what he is. I like the idea. I just don't like the execution of it with the tough statuses. Okay, this is where people get mad at me. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't think Cyclops is fun. I don't think he's fun. I don't think he's thematic. I don't think he's anything interesting. The one interesting thing is that you can add aspects from allies from different aspects to his deck. That's not bad, right? And that could make him better over time as more and more X-Men aspect allies come out. Sure, because it's more interesting, but I don't like the whole attachment mechanic. I don't think it's that interesting, right? I don't like that the only way I can, like, you know, laser blast people with my eyes is if they have an attachment. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't like his whole ruby quartz visor thing and how that works and how, like, I'm shoehorned into what that can be used for. I don't like most of his cards. Like, he's a very average feeling hero to me. He doesn't feel like anything special, and I don't like him thematically. I don't like his, I'm not a fan of him. I'm just not. I've tried so hard to like him. Now, is he powerful? Sure, he's powerful. I mean, I'm not gonna lie that he's not powerful, but I just don't think he's that fun. I don't think he's that interesting. And I don't think his design's anything special. So, all right, shortest one on the list, Doctor Strange. If you know at this point. Next up, we have Drax, and Drax isn't bad, right? Drax is gonna end up somewhere here in the middle. I feel like he's a very average hero. Nothing crazy, not like amazing or anything like that, but he's fine, right? I enjoy him for what he is. I'll take him out. I'll play him every now and again, and I'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy Drax. I don't know if he'll ever move up because I feel like he's kind of shoehorned into that protection build. It feels kind of samey. Now I know there's people that have done other builds with him, but I don't enjoy them as much as that protection build. It feels like that protection build was made for him, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, I guess. All right, next up we have Gambit. Gambit, I love. I think Gambit is so much fun. Probably the best hero that come out of this cycle for me personally. I think the whole card mechanic is interesting. I think how it works is interesting. I like that. Now, look, I know She-Hulk can be played in like alter ego for like here and there and bits and pieces and whatever. Gambit can legit stay in alter ego for like the entire game solo. It's nuts. It's nuts how good he is there. He plays really well in alter ego. He plays really well in hero. I like his mechanics. I feel like I'm still fine-tuning his deck a bit, but I still enjoy it. I still think it's really, really fun. So personally, right now I love him. I think he'll be near the end of this tier because he still has to work his way up. But man, I've been playing a lot of Gambit and I've really enjoyed him. Now, in my last tier list, Gamora was a bit low. And the thing is, I'm starting to like her a lot again. I have an ebb and flow thing with her where I really do enjoy Gamora. The problem is she was my most played hero for a while, for like a long while, and I think I just played her too much and she dropped way down, and I'm slowly getting back into the rhythm as better protection cards come out. There are attack cards as well. It's nice because you can like either play aggression or justice and throw in like the opposite cards and then a few protection cards to like do the attack and heal thing. I think that's really cool. So I think she's been really fun and interesting. She's always been fun and interesting, but I think she's getting back to like what I always liked her as. So it's been nice. It's been nice for her to like kind of go back up there. All right, next up we have Ghost Spider. And I liked Ghost Spider a lot when she came out. I liked her a ton when she came out. The problem is it feels like protection is like all she's good at right now. Now I want to play her again because it's been a little while. So I like her a lot. She might end up in not bad, but I feel like you have to play her in protection, and it just got boring, right? Gwen Stacy is one of my favorite superhero characters, and I wanted her to be versatile in all the things, right? And justice and aggression, she's okay, right? She's not bad, but she's just okay. She's not. I don't know. I don't like her as much as I thought I would, unfortunately, because she just feels shoehorned into protection. But still a fun hero to play when you want to play a good protection deck. It's just I don't always want to. It's my least favorite, not my least favorite aspect, but it's not an aspect that like I'm overly excited about most of the time. Unfortunately, she's likes a lot, maybe not bad. She's gonna fall somewhere in there most likely. All right, now we have OP Groot. He's high up here. Ever since I've learned about Justice Groot and really making Justice Groot works, he's a lot of fun. I've been messing now a lot more with aggression, and it's okay, right? It's okay. The that was the newest aspect I was trying to get to work. And then leadership, now that I've started getting more into leadership, that's what I want to do next. I've only played like a handful of games with him in leadership, and it's not bad, right? You still have to build kind of more thinking of massive amount, or keeping the thwart in check while you wait until you can do massive amounts of thwarting. So that part's a little rough still, but I feel like leadership might actually work with them. I think we can get some interesting decks built out of that, which is good because most of the time with heroes that get stuck in one aspect in my mind kind of fall down the list pretty fast because I get bored of that. So I do see Groot staying near the top just because I do think he works in other aspects. In protection, he works. Justice, he obviously works. And I think leadership, he will work, but I just need to fine tune it a little bit. All right, next up we have Hawkeye. I'll play him now and again. The problem is he's so squishy, right? He's so squishy, which kind of stinks for Hawkeye. I want more of him. I like the idea of Hawkeye, and I want to do more with him. I just he's fine, right? He's fine. I should probably play him more, but again, I feel like he gets stuck in leadership because he has no health and has no real way to block. It's a little rough for Hawkeye. It's a little rough, especially for solo. But I do, when I play some more multiplayer games, I want to play him a bit more. I think he could be interesting in that. So right now, I randomly might play him, but that's about it. All right, next up we have Hulk. I like Hulk. Hulk is not bad. Hulk will end up in not bad somewhere. I don't know where, maybe near the bottom. But I like Hulk. I like the challenge of Hulk. I think Hulk is interesting for what he is. Does he have his flaws? Absolutely. But I think those flaws is what makes him interesting to play. I think it makes him a lot of fun. So we'll see where he actually ends up in the end. But I like Hulk. He's always been like kind of right solid in the middle for me as like a hero. Of whether I like them or not. All right, Ironheart used to be like a top 3 hero for me. I'm gonna put Ironheart. I do love Ironheart, but she's gonna end up either at the end of this list or near like a lot. I don't know which, but somewhere in there. I don't know where, but I liked her a lot. She's just very samey in that you want to rush to stage 3 build with her, and stage 3 or phase 3, whatever it's called, stage 3 version 3, you want to rush to version 3. The problem is version 3 is not that hard to get. I thought before she came out that it was going to be kind of difficult to get to version 3. It turns out it's not that hard at all, especially on solo. So after like 2, maybe 3 turns, you're probably there at that point if you prioritize it. And then once that's built out, she's got her thruster thing that removes 3 threat from a scheme, and her blasters do 3 damage, and all you have to do is exhaust them. She's way too strong. She's way too strong. She can keep the board state controlled so well. And like her herself thwarts for another 3. Like she could just control the game. The hardest part's that beginning game. So like if by 3 turns you're not starting to get built out in version 3, it's gonna be a rough go. But if you're there like turn 3 in version 3, like you're good, right? You're gold. You don't have to really worry. And that's where it kind of like stinks because you kind of know how the game's going to end. All right, next up is Iron Man. He's in there. I don't know. Like he's gotten more interesting for sure. I just don't play that much Iron Man. I don't know. He just doesn't interest me to play. I think he's fine for what he is. He's a little rougher of a solo hero, but he's still interesting. But I don't know. I don't really see him going up a ton more than this, maybe a little bit, but he's fine. Right? He's fine, but I don't like go seek him out to play him. All right, next up we have Miss Marvel, who I adore. I adore Miss Marvel. I think with a lot of the new cards that keep coming out, with as long as they're events, right? She attack Thor events, she shines, right? I think she does some really interesting things. I think Miss Marvel is really cool in her design, and I think she just kind of keeps getting better and better because she is so versatile as a hero. I think it's a lot of fun to play her, and she plays well in a lot of different aspects, a lot of different builds. I think it's really cool. I think it's really fun. So as of right now, I still love her a lot. I still think she's super fun. I don't know where she'll end up. She'll probably be above Groot, but I'm not 100% sure where. All right, next up we have Nebula, and I want to like Nebula. I really want to like Nebula a lot more. Every time I play her, she feels weird. She doesn't feel great to play, and I feel like I've tried. And I like her more in Cyclops, I guess. I don't know if I can keep doing Nebula. I'm not that interested in her technique cards, right? I like the idea of it. I think the idea is cool. I think it works well in multiplayer, and I think it's fun multiplayer. I think for solo, it's just not that interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of her, unfortunately. So I tried really hard, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon. So as of now, Nebula's going to stay down there. All right, next up we have Nova, who I always thought I wasn't going to like that much, and I like him a fair amount. I don't know about as much as Gamora. I think he's right here-ish. I I like Nova. I don't love him. I think he has an interesting kit. I think his cost curve is kind of broken with the way he's designed, unfortunately. But I still think he's like can be fun and can be interesting. He can ramp up really fast. So there's some cool things you can do with him. That's cool. But I don't like love everything about him. And I don't know. He's fine to me. But I do like him more than I thought I was going to. All right, next we have Phoenix. I thought I was going to like Phoenix so much more. I wanted to like Phoenix so much more. I really like Phoenix in the comics. And she's not bad, right? I think people are trashing her more than she deserves, right? I do think she's not a bad hero. And I think once you recognize that you have to stay on the restrained side until you're kind of built out and then go unleashed, right? You have to really kind of be careful when you go unleashed. It can't be right away. So you kind of have to like balance that out. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of have issues with, I guess, for the most part. But yeah, she's just not bad in my opinion. Nothing great, but just not bad. All right, next up we have Quicksilver. Again, I want to like Quick more than that, but I'm so bored by his design. I don't know. He's only got 9 health. The whole ready up ability isn't bad, but I don't love it. I think it's fine for what it is. I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of Quicksilver. I know a lot of people like him in protection, and I think maybe because I'm not the biggest protection player that he doesn't make a lot of sense for me. I don't know, but he's okay, right? He's okay. I'll still randomly play him down again, so I wouldn't drop him down. Not a fan. Like I really just don't want to play these heroes. But Quick, I'll still play Quicksilver. Maybe he'll move up a little bit in someday in the future, but nothing really recently. He's just so generic to me and just kind of boring with his whole ready up thing. I don't know. I just don't find that interesting anymore. All right, next up we have Rocket, who, to be fair to Rocket, I've played a little bit more recently because I realized it's been a while. I'm liking Rocket. I forgot how much fun Rocket can actually be. And with his 2 thwart and solo, like, can keep the table kind of like under control, which is really nice. I like his whole weapon system and his what is it? Not the uses basically, but his whole weapon system and like ammunition and stuff. Like I think all that's kind of cool. I think as we got a better card pool that lets us flip more often, I think he's gotten more interesting because, you know, when the Guardians came out, I feel like a lot of people didn't want to use him, or I guess a lot of people, being me, didn't want to use him because it was kind of this weird thing where, you know, you don't know where exactly to put him, and, you know, where do you flip him, or when do you flip him, and what do you build him around? Like, obviously aggression makes sense, but he still needs to thwart a bit, right? It was like kind of like this weird thing with him, but I feel like he's gotten better, right? I feel like he's gotten a fair amount better. Hey, really quick, we're about halfway through this video, a little past halfway. I don't know who actually watches this middle part, so if you're watching this, do me a huge favor, hit the like button. I just want to see who actually watches like this ranking, because realistically people watch like the very beginning and they just want to see the ending and then just get mad without any of my explanation in the middle. So if you see the middle, just thumbs up. That'd be really cool. Thanks. All right, now we have Rogue, and Rogue is such a weird one for me. I think she's okay. I don't know. Like she's not bad. She's at the bottom and not bad. I still want to try her more. I still feel like it's very early on the Rogue cycle to like pass too much judgment on her. But I don't know. Like, I don't mind the touch mechanic. I don't think it works as well for solo as it does multiplayer. I think she's definitely a better multiplayer hero. I feel like I'm just trait chasing with her. So, like, if I want to be, like, a mystic with her, I could do that. Or I could just be a mystic with a mystic, right? I could just be Scarlet Witch, right? So, it's this weird thing where, okay, then you can, like, use Web Warrior stuff with her. Okay, I'll just be a Web Warrior, right? Like, I feel like that's the stage she's in right now. And there's some interesting things you could do, like with aggression, with doing like overkill and stuff like that, by touching like the minions or whatever. That stuff is at least somewhat more interesting, but I still haven't found like a rhythm that I really like and really enjoy with her. So I don't want to write her off completely. I'm not the biggest fan of her yet. All right, next up we have Scarlet Witch. She was my number 1 before. She's going to be my number 1 still. I still love Witch. I still love playing her. Justice, aggression, protection, she's not terrible. Leadership, she's okay. But I still think her mechanics are so much fun. I really enjoy them. I think she's one of the most powerful heroes out there. I've thoroughly enjoyed playing Witch. I don't see her losing that spot. Realistically, I just don't see her losing it. So I really enjoy her. I could talk about her for days. She's just so much fun to play. All right, now we got Shadowcat. Shadowcat, I like Shadowcat. Like here. I like Shadowcat. I gotta play her again some more because it's been a little while. But Shadowcat's a lot of fun. I think she's enjoyable. I think the trying to balance her mass and phased, I think those are the two. You know, her little card that flips back and forth, forms, I guess. Trying to balance them, I think, is really interesting. I think it's really cool, and there's some really interesting dynamics with cards that you can do, right, with how certain cards work. I think there's more to Shadowcat than a lot of people thought there was going to be, and I think there still can be a lot more to her, because as long as the cards have attack and defense on them, like, they will work with Shadowcat and what she can do, which is kind of cool. I think she's really built well for the long haul. All right, now we got She-Hulk, who has been moving up a lot. She-Hulk's not bad. You have to understand, She-Hulk used to be like not a fan to randomly may play, right? And I think she's moving up. I don't know if I can move her up too much higher, but I do like She-Hulk. I think she's gotten better. I think she's gotten fun. I don't know. I need to play her more, is I guess what I'll say. I just need to play her more. All right, then we have Spider, who I like. I think Spider's fine-ish there. I like that she's different. I like how she works. I think her mechanic is pretty cool. I don't think it's anything amazing. I think once you build her out, the problem is she's just really strong and like a little too strong. And because of how much life she has, you could just like kind of just get hit in the face a lot. It doesn't really matter. So Spider's fine, but she's not amazing. I don't know. I feel like that's a good spot for her. All right, Spectrum. I'm just not a fan of Spectrum. I like Nebula more. But Spectrum, I think her 3 phase card things is just kind of boring. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's not for me. It really isn't. I wanted to like Spectrum. I kept trying her. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. Maybe one day she'll come out of the box, but as of now, every time I think about playing her, I'd just rather play almost any other hero at this point. All right, next up we have Spider-Ham, who I thought would drop lower on my list, but he's still so much fun to play. I think we have to adjust this list, which we will in a second. We'll do it at the end. But Spider-Ham is still a lot of fun to play. I still really enjoy him. I think he was in my top 10 last time. I thought he would have dropped down a lot more. I don't think so. I really like Spider-Ham. I think he's not bad. I think he's interesting that he can work in basically every aspect. Maybe that's a part of it because his kit's so strong. But it's nice to have an OP hero that still has interesting decisions of what you can do besides, I don't know, just playing 5 cards over and over and over. But there's still interesting decisions to be had with him. I think not having him at 14 hit points was great because it opens up too many good cards for him. But I really like Spider-Man. I still think he's fun. I still think he's interesting. And he's a quirky little fun character. I think that's cool, right? I'm fine with that. So he's definitely in the love him section still. All right, this next one is a shocker for me. Straight up shocker. And that is Spider-Man Miles Morales. I did not like Miles Morales when he first came out because they put him with the shield deck. I did not like that shield deck build. It didn't make sense for him. And now that we have more web warriors, we have different things he could do. He's so well balanced. He can play pretty much every aspect. His kit's pretty fun. Even with Stalwart, he's not as good, but he's still fun. He's still enjoyable. It's still a fun puzzle to figure out because he's not completely reliant on stunning and confused enemies. Yes, it helps, but it's not like 100% needed. Now, is he strong? Does he break kind of the cost curve a little bit? Yeah, he does. But it's still enjoyable. It's still enjoyable. And I like Miles Morales as a character. And I think, again, I think the worst thing for me was just his pre-con deck was incredibly bad. That now that we have all the Web Warrior cards out there, there's more you could do with him. I think he's good now. I really enjoy him. I think it's a lot of fun to play Miles and kind of experiment with him and whatnot. Now, for my favorite comic book character. The thing is with Spider-Man is I think he's showing his age. He's not well balanced, right? He cannot thwart for the life of him. He cannot. And if you don't believe me, go see a recent stream where I've played him. He just can't thwart. You have to play him justice and solo, especially against harder villains now, because he can't keep up. His card pool has Spider Tracer, right? And that depends on the minion being out there, and he thwarts for 1, which is pathetic. He's just not good. I want him to be higher up. I've just had such bad experiences on stream and off stream. I played him for a while to try to get better at him. I'll randomly play him, but he has dropped so much. I don't. Against Corebox and Rise of Red Skull, I think I can handle him all right in Justice. Later on, I think he's showing his age, right? I think deck progression has gotten so much better at this point that he's not a bad hero. I just don't think his design's that much fun anymore compared to other ones out there. So whatever. Unfortunately, he's just dropping dropping like a rock, but maybe it'll be up one day again in the future. I don't know. All right, next up we have Spider-Woman, who I love. I love Spider-Woman, but not love them a lot. Like Spider-Woman's like right in between. We might pop her up onto this row. I'm not 100% sure, but I do really like / love Spider-Woman's kit. I like her design. I like how she works. I like the combination of even cards. I think that's really neat and cool. It lets you get into some interesting deck building without being too much like Adam Warlock is. It's fun, right? She's a lot of fun, and I still enjoy playing her, and she's just powerful. She's just powerful. She could do it all, which is just really cool and really fun. So definitely at high like a lot, maybe love him. We'll see where she ends up. All right, now we have Star-Lord. He's such a mess to play. He's right below Hulk. He's fine, right? He's fine for what he is. I just wanted something like a little bit more. I think just a little bit. I don't know. I like the character. I just don't love the hero design. I don't know. Whatever. He's not bad. All right, now we have Storm. Well, I like Storm a lot. I think her decisions are pretty interesting in how she works. I think that's pretty cool. But it's not one of those things where I'm just like, wow, like this is amazingly fun to play. Leadership is her best aspect. I don't even think it's close. So not that it's completely boring at this point, but it's kind of like predictable. But her weather kit still makes the game a lot of fun. I still like the way it works. I think in multiplayer she's a lot more fun and a lot more interesting, and there's a lot more difficult decisions that are made, which are really cool. But as far as solo, she's fine. I like her a lot, but she's not one that like I'm pulling out all the time to play or anything like that. So right now I like her a lot, but I think she's above not bad, right? She's in the Phoenix area, which I always consider like the midpoint. All right, now we have Thor, and Thor is not bad, right? I mean, Thor probably goes there. Yeah. I mean, Thor is fine for what he is. Valkyrie, a lot of the cards in the Valkyrie's hero pack kind of help save him a bit. And there's other cards out there that have helped him a bit. Like, he's fun, right? He could be fun. He could be interesting. Even in solo, he could be interesting and fun. I don't think he's anything too special. But he's a hero that I'll play, and it'll be fun to play him for a little bit, and I won't for a while. And I want to tinker with his deck more and do more. I do have to get him back to the table, like as I think about this more and more and more. So he might actually drop a little bit because I haven't played him a lot recently. Oh, we got to switch Hulk and Drax. Yeah, I'll put Thor and Hulk next to each other. I feel like they're in my head, like build wise. I enjoy both of them. Maybe Thor just like a touch more. All right, next up we have the GOAT, Valkyrie, who is up there. Not as good as Witch. Well, we're gonna reorganize this line a little bit, but she's not as good as Witch. But I just enjoy Valkyrie. I enjoy her. I think she's fun to play. I think she's a challenge. I think she works in a lot of different aspects with leadership, aggression, and justice. Possibly protection. I do need to mess around with that a little bit because I think she could work. Is her kit the best? No, it's not. But that's what makes her interesting, right? It's not a bad kit. I know people love to slam on her kit like it's absolutely terrible. It's not absolutely terrible. It's fine for what it is. It's mid, right? It's a mid tier kit for the most part. Some of the cards aren't great, but it's not the worst thing in the world, right? It really isn't. In my opinion, it's not the worst kit in the world. So I love her up there. She's not gonna be number 2. I have to readjust this, but she's definitely gonna be up there for sure. All right, now we have Venom, who he's not bad, right? To me, he's like around there. I don't know. I don't like his whole everything's reliant on his weapons. I don't like that it's how fast can you get his weapons out there, and then you just play off of them. His kit is super strong, which is fine. I think the most interesting thing about him is how they did his wild resource mechanic, that you take a damage and you can get a wild resource. I think actually that's a pretty cool mechanic because that's like a fun trade-off, right? Is this resource truly worth taking a damage, right? That's fun, and that's one of the things that's like kind of kept him around in my mind. Other than that, like he works well in the different aspects, so you can play around with them, which is really nice, but because his gun system is just kind of so strong. Now, I've started to like him a bit more with villains that will take away like attachments or mess around with attachments and stuff like that, or just, you know, getting caught off guard a bit more, it seems like. But anything that like kind of like knocks off attachments or like affects like your play area has been kind of nice. Or just that's what I should say, really, just like affects your play area has been kind of nice. I feel like it makes him a lot more difficult to navigate, which has been fun, I guess. Been interesting enough. But yeah, I don't love Venom, but I think he's fine. Next up we have Vivian, which I know it's a picture of Vision, but I may play him. I don't know. It's random that I'll play him. I haven't played Vision in like the longest time, which kind of stinks. But I don't know. He's kind of boring at this point to me. I want to like him. I want to do more with him, but his whole phase and mass form, which I don't even think that's what it's called, whatever it's called, Kitty does it better, right? Shadowcat does it a million times better, and it's how it should have been. His whole kit isn't that good anymore compared to like other kits that are out there, right? Like it feels like Rogue is the slight improvement on his kit. So his whole flipping thing, which is supposed to be interesting, Shadowcat does better. His kit, it feels like Rogue just does it better, right? I feel like everyone just does what he does, but better. So I don't really think he's great to play with, and I think they need to support Android more. We only have a handful of Android cards, and rebooting Android's pretty cool. It's gotten pretty tiresome, right? I'm not that biggest fan of it anymore. So they need to either do something with Android or something. I don't know what, but yeah, I'm just not. I'll randomly play him, but I'm not. I don't think he's going to move up the list, is what I should say. I think he's going to continuously move down the list, unfortunately. All right, this is going to be the last one and not a fan, and that is War Machine. War Machine's just below Nebula. I don't like his ammo counter system. I think the system is too restrictive. I think his cost curve, especially with what we've seen nowadays, should be much lower, especially with the ammo counter restrictions, right? It's so hard to build up those counters nowadays. Now, shield type builds does make him a little more interesting, makes him a little more fun, but I don't think he's like phenomenal or anything with it. Like, I think he's a little bit better, and I put like a little bit of life into him for like a week or two, and then I got tired of him again, right? I don't like the ammo counter system. I don't think it's well executed on him. His cost curve should have been a lot lower, like a lot lower, especially with how restricted those counters are. So I don't know. He's just gonna stay down. I want to try him again some more, but we'll see. I don't think so. All right, now we have Wasp. We mentioned Wasp before when talking about Ant-Man. The Ant-Man's not bad, but whenever I think about playing Ant-Man or Wasp, I always think about playing Wasp, and Wasp probably beats out Valkyrie. I like Wasp a lot. I think her design is a lot more fun and interesting than Ant-Man. I think with how you could build out these science resources, you can work with Genius now. I think there's a lot of cool things you can do with that. I think the way her mechanics work between big versus small is a little bit more interesting than Ant-Man's is. I just think she's more fun overall. I think she's more interesting. So for right now, she's up there. She'll probably never eclipse Scarlet Witch, but she's definitely always a top 5 hero for me at this point. All right, and last we have Wolverine. And Wolverine is everything I wanted Wolverine to be. I think I'm going to put him third. Wolverine is just so much fun. Wolverine is so much fun. I wanted just a ball of attack. That's what I wanted, just like this wrecking ball of attack to come through and just rush and decimate. And that's what he does. And it turns out, guess what? He works in the long game too, right? You could build him out and have him work pretty darn well in protection. I love Wolverine in protection. I still think that's his strongest aspect to help him heal up. Leadership, okay. Justice, he's actually not bad for controlling the board state because he does so much attack by himself. He has such crazy attack, and it's so cheap for him that he can basically do any aspect and do it pretty well. So I'm a big fan of Wolverine. He's what I wanted him to be, which I think is the most key thing. He's what I want him to be. I think he's phenomenal at what he does. So I am loving Wolverine. I love playing him, and I see him up there for quite some time. All right, so let's mess around with these lines a little bit. Let's look at not a fan. Strange, absolutely. Warlock, yep. Cyclops. Cyclops, I'd actually put above Spectrum. Spectrum, I'm really tired of. And actually, I put Cyclops over War Machine. Nebula, I still like a little bit more than Cyclops. So I think this order is fine. Quicksilver, that's fine. Hawkeye. Black Widow. Black Widow versus Iron Man's kind of a weird one. No. Yeah, I put her about here. So I would have Hawkeye, Iron Man, Colossus, Black Widow, Spider-Man. Yeah, it just stinks that he's dropped so much. Vision, that makes sense. All right, then Rogue, Star-Lord, Drax, Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, yeah, She-Hulk, yeah, Venom, yeah. Phoenix, yeah, I want to like her a lot. And I think I will in the long run. I think she actually has upward mobility. But yeah, I think this is a good spot for her right now. All right, Storm, it's good. Ghost Spider, yeah, but I think she's dropping too. Black Panther, I actually like him in this area. I think he makes a lot of sense here for me. Spider's good. Spider, I see dropping a bit. Nova, I see dropping a bit in the future. Rocket, I could see Rocket staying here for a while. Rocket has definitely gotten better over time. Shadowcat, I really like Shadowcat. I need to get some more plays with her. I think she actually moves up eventually. Gamora, I think, always bounces around. And here, maybe up here, you know, bit down more. Captain America, man, he's my surprise, like, hero recently. I know people love Captain America. And I was fine with him when he came out, and then I got bored of him. And there's just so many cool things you could do with him now, especially with Flow Like Water. I really love Flow Like Water Captain America. I don't know if he'll move up to the love him tier, but he's definitely high up there now. Spider-Woman I enjoy a lot, so I think that's pretty good. Ironheart could even drop down to like a lot, but I don't think I'm going to yet. Gambit, no, Gambit needs to be higher. Gambit, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Gambit's probably a top 5 hero for me right now. Okay, so Ironheart, Spider-Man. Actually, hold on. We need to move Groot down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is 10, 20, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Okay, so these first, okay, so this is top 10 up here. So top 10, 11 through 20. Okay, this makes sense. So Ironheart is 10, makes sense to me. Groot is 9, makes sense. Miles is 8, makes sense. Spider-Ham is 7, makes sense. 6 is Miss Marvel. That makes sense to me. 5 is Gambit. 4 is Valk. 3 is Wolverine, 2 is Wasp, and 1 is Scarlet Witch. Yeah, that feels like my top 10 heroes. These are heroes I definitely enjoy playing. It's funny too, because like a lot of people, I think 10 is kind of a bad spot for me to break it. I feel like top like 15 is like the heroes I would really consider like playing almost any time, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This makes sense to me, right? Well, Rocket would be like on the fence, but Shadowcat I would play almost any time. Gamora I play almost any time. Captain America at this point I would. Spider-Woman, yeah. Rocket's like kind of on a high right now. And I think he does falter a little bit. And I think Phoenix could move up this list. But yeah, like top 15 is like a good spot for me. Where like those top 15 heroes I play almost any time, like day or night, right? I'm pretty happy playing them. But yeah, so definitely like this top 10 list. This is probably definitely good. The rest of it's good. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good list. I'm pretty happy with how that turns out. Well, there you go. That is my official hero rank list. This is everyone from the core box all the way through Rogue and Gambit. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But if you want to see this list done a little bit differently, and the results are actually quite different, which is interesting, you can check it out right here. This is done through Pub Meeple, where you have to choose like a this or that type of thing. I think it's kind of fun. And like I said, the results are different. It's kind of interesting. So definitely check out that video. If you made this far, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I really appreciate it. See you all next time.